Hey guys,
Attitude.
Thursday. Welcome to the chat. Who's ever on here? Hopefully, a few more people come on board. See the screen up there. We had a lot of rain over the last week. It's pretty beautiful out here right now in the Northwest, but had a couple races last week that weren't able to run locally. So hopefully they get their program back going again and getting into summer. So that's going to be a great thing going on. So one of the things we set up this week is another call-in guest. So I'm just going to transition to that. Not really talk too much about what happened last week because not really a lot of racing. I know Nora Oval moved into Creekside because of the weather. I don't actually remember how many entries they had, but I know they had a good turnout and that was successful to them. So we'll just get going into the guest here tonight. So, hey guys, hey Jason, hey Carson, how we doing?
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty nice weather that turned out to be over the last few days was looking pretty bad there, but the weather's came around and that's a good thing, huh?
Yeah.
So, we've had Joe and AJ on here a couple weeks ago and had some good conversation with them and definitely want to get you guys on. You guys are definitely traveling about the same right now within the Northwest. And some of the things we talked about with those guys is kind of some history of what you got going into racing. Was there any past history of racing besides RC cars? So let's start with you, Carson. As far as into racing before the RC car happened, what did you do, and how did where did that end up, or did you learn from that moving into the RC program?
I started motocross racing. Had like a field in the back, and my dad built a track and just started since there, and was just racing ever since, and had the background of just going fast, and it kind of transferred over to racing RC cars off of the Supercross. So
Yeah. What about you, Jason? I know we've chatted a little bit, but kind of your background in the kind of into racing and when did it, move into like RC cars or whatever?
I really didn't get really heavily into RC car racing. I started motocross racing when I was 8. My last race was in '99 when I got hurt, and my first kid was born, and I was told I have to be able to work to support. So
Yeah.
I hung it up, and then when Carson was born, we kind of got back into the motocross racing scene, and I tried to live through him. I dabbled a little bit into drag racing, a little bit up at Mission in Canada, but the cost of that too is expensive. So I just tried to live through Carson's motocross racing career.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of involved into with a little too many injuries with him, and told him we have to go somewhere a different direction. And so we kind of just dabbled a little bit into RCs for fun, and noticed they were racing at Skagit, and then got him kind of just dinking around there on the weekends, and a little bit up Mike's RC World, and it kind of just took off from there.
So what was his first RC car?
Traxxas / 4-wheel drive.
There you go. I mean, how many, that, I'm sure too, how many people we talked to that asked me what was your first your first dabble into the RC, and short course comes up probably 7 out of 10 times. So pretty popular, and glad to see that track there, that class getting more supported again this year. And of course, locally where you guys are, Nora, they actually have a Traxxas / class, and I believe last club race, they had 2 full heats. So Traxxas / or regular short course is definitely a good place to start. What about you? Did you race some short course at all, or did you just do e-buggy, or what were you doing?
Back in the '90s, I had an RC10, the Gold Pan,
Mhm.
and I did some of the off-road racing. The track isn't where it is today. It was behind an industrial park. And it was just made a track back there, and they had an oval track back there too.
Yeah.
So it did a little dirt oval. And then they had the carpet indoor at the old skating rink that was in Burlington.
Mhm.
I did that for a couple of years. I didn't really, like I says, and then I didn't do anything more with that other than at home with my dad. And then when Carson started racing, I got myself an e-buggy, and I'd run that a little bit, and then he kind of just took it from me,
Mhm.
and started racing e-buggy 8 scale.
How'd Carson do when he first started racing? He take it pretty well? Did he, was it a
No,
natural thing? Like, describe
no,
those, those ups and downs and, all that.
yeah, it was a learning curve for us. Um, it's not all about go fast. There's a little bit of skill set that you need to learn, and patience, knowing how to set up a car is totally different than, setting up a motocross bike. Just learning, listening to people's
Advice on how to
advice.
set up a car and just what
Um,
tires to run on what track. And it was just confusing for me and my dad to track and people just shame us. And so we had to learn just how to, you know, set up a car. And, I might break something, he might not break something, but we had to learn on how to communicate and just work on setup. And that was huge on having fun and racing was the communication. So
and Carson wasn't very well liked when we first started. He was like a basher. He'd wreck a lot of people, break a lot of people's stuff, break his own stuff. And yeah, he wasn't very favored for quite a while. Um, so that was another learning curve. You're not out there to break people.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that was a bunch. That was a big learning curve too.
Mhm. I
So,
think those are great things to talk about because we know the success that you guys have had together and the success that Carson is came home with a lot of podium finishes and that took some time, but how long do you think it took before you really saw a transition difference in the way he drove, his cars being set up, and I mean, I guess you could say he was starting to earn like respect from the other racers.
um, I'd say probably it took probably about 5 years.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit longer. Um, we started traveling a little bit and picking up sponsors. And so then when you got the sponsors, you can't have the attitudes and the cussing and yeah, and so the help from sponsors when they started rolling in, it made it a little bit easier on their budget.
Mhm.
Um, we started practicing a lot more, trying to do as many races as we can, learning, um, and
just putting the time in and just trying to
it
learn out how to everything works, just
Mhm.
getting the program down.
it probably took about 7 years, I'd say, at least, before it started getting noticeable. We had some speed to him. I mean, yeah, he was in the short course, and it's short course guys race the same way as they did back then. But the open wheel, you just can't throw it in there. And being consistent, um, yeah,
That's
he didn't start showing speed until we actually started traveling a lot.
okay. And I
Um,
really like to hear that because we hear some people that get frustrated after a couple of years or even 3 or 4 races. Like, why am I not running up in the front of the pack? Why do I keep crashing? Why do I and we hear it, you know, from a, you know, caliber driver like you, Carson, to people that have never maybe, you know, stepped up to that higher podium level, that it just takes time. It takes time, setup,
Yep.
um, going through
There's a
all
lot
of
of
those
frustration. There's
transitions,
things that
all of
don't
it.
go right. Setup
Yep.
don't go right.
Yep.
So
And the only way you're gonna be the only way you're gonna be fast is you gotta put your time in. And I noticed when we actually travel to the big races out of state, not where all the pros are and stuff, he's not as fast, and you can really see it. But when you race with them quite a bit, and then you come back home, you can really notice a difference on the tracks. So like you kind of get to that level. If you just stay around at your local tracks, you're not going to get faster. You're only going to be as fast as the guys around you.
there's only one pace to be set. If you want to chase a pace, you better go chase it because you're only going to get so faster. That's all I could say.
And practicing, yeah, it probably gets you the feel of your car and your setups and stuff, but that's not going to make you faster either. I found that being around the pros makes you faster.
Sure.
But yeah.
Definitely, that's definitely good advice. Definitely good advice. You talked a little
You're
bit
not
about,
going to learn something new if you're going to do the same thing every day.
sure. You talked a little bit about sponsors, Jason. And not really to name any of those, but from when you were probably, I guess, maybe looking for sponsors, or I don't know if they looked for you, but starting back then to what you look for or expect out of a sponsor, how has that changed?
The local hobby shop that was here, it's no longer here, but they were probably the best to us. She was. She helped out a lot. She liked Carson, helped out a lot on parts, which she could, even though we weren't running cars that were at the hobby shop. Just because the Traxxas that we had was not really a Traxxas anymore, because I started like buying all kinds of aftermarket, from chassis to everything. It was base.
The only thing that left was Traxxas was the diff cases.
It was,
Oh, really?
and that, yeah, it was to the point where you're putting money into it. You polishing a turd.
Yeah.
I was told I needed to go and actually buy
And we didn't,
actual short course.
we didn't know at the time, like, we didn't know that there was different brands that were faster. And so the low C was kind of like the head wave of starting the RC. Was like, we got the 4-wheel drive Traxxas, and it was kind of like, that was the racing brand instead of the bashing brand. But
as for sponsors, it was the hobby shop. And then I figured, so he was racing the last year that the NCT had Sportsman Nitro, and he was racing short course also, and he won the championship in 4-wheel drive short course, and he won the Nitro Sportsman class. And I said, okay, that's the time where I saw he's actually pretty good. So I started reaching out, and so we only had the hobby shop as a sponsor, and then we got a hold of Venom. Talked to Mikey.
Mikey Hudson. Yep.
And he was working at Venom, so we picked them up for batteries and our short course motors. And then I actually threw a Hail Mary, and I sent a message to Gord Tessman, and Leanne Tessman texted me back and wanted some more pictures of Carson. I sent some more race pictures, and Gord called me, and he offered Carson a sponsorship, and that was basically what started with that. And he always had an HB e-buggy from day one. We've never raced any other brand for 14 years, 13 years.
13.
He's been a loyal HB racing guy since then.
Oh, I didn't know it was that long. Wow.
Yeah, so the S-Works is actually the only other brand he's ever raced. Anyway, so that developed to that, and then I said, okay, we need bodies. So I reached out to LFR
Mm-hmm.
and they picked him up.
Mhm.
And then I reached out to AKA and picked them up. That was probably, and then got a hold of Reds Racing,
Mm-hmm.
and so we got an engine sponsor through Reds, and so it all started to just like click together.
Yeah.
Yeah, our sponsor levels weren't very high, but it was a help. Like I said, it's expensive.
Motivation.
Tires was the big thing.
Yeah. for sure.
And then the car parts too, because everything had to be ordered from like A Main or something. Because like I said, the hobby shop can't get the
Mhm.
race car stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then just over the years, it just relationships is a big thing. Being loyal with your sponsors, not to this day we have some sponsors that we've never met.
Chris from
Chris
LFR.
Reefer from LFR, but he's been like, I'd say, the number one sponsorship to us. We almost feel like he's family to us. I mean, the way he treats Carson, even though we've never met, but we've been with him for, oh gosh, probably 12 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Wow.
10 years.
So
He's my good, loyal first sponsor. Never met him. Still to this day.
but we communicate quite a bit with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, and our sponsors we pretty much carry his whole career. We haven't really switched brands, other than, like I said, other than now we're on S-Works, and then our engine program. I just needed to move to a different engine platform for him because he needed more speed. Not bashing anything about the Reds motors. It was just we were just loyal with them, and we just needed a little bit more out of it. And so ICEs, we don't. I'm going to just go privateer on the motors, and we still are
Privateer.
kind of privateer. But yeah, that's about all our sponsors we've had forever. So
And then when did the TZO come into play, Carson, with Nick?
So I was at a TNR race
No.
and
Thunder Alley.
it was Thunder Alley. There was Thunder Alley, but it was a TNR host race by Chris. And I was just up in practice. It was a huge line. Everybody was waiting. And
We TQ'd.
no, I was just waiting in practice. And I met a buddy in line and I asked him, said, "Hey, what's that cool swag you got on?" And he's like, "Oh, it's TZO." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Anyways, got back to the pits, talked to my dad. I said, "Hey, do you know that brand?" He goes, "No, I've never heard about it." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So I kind of just was dinking around, hanging around all weekend, did all right, TQ'd, and just kind of approached Nick from TZO, the owner. And he walked up to me and was kind of like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Not bad." And he showed me his tires. And ever since then, I've been sponsored. It's been about 3 years. Have nothing else to say. So
Yeah,
he's been really good.
I know you guys communicate a lot. I
Yes.
chat with him a little bit, but he's definitely, I would say, helped you to get to where you are probably now in the last 3 years. I know you're a real firm believer, and you're definitely loyal to the TZO tire brand. And when people come up and talk to you about what tires you're running and what to do, I see promote them, and the stuff works. We see it work for other people. We see it work for you. So, and you're really knowledgeable on the compounds and tread pattern and for that particular track. And if they can't run that and they have another option, maybe a different compound, you're pretty good about telling them what the car is going to feel like. I've noticed that. So, you definitely spend the time, researching and understanding, what TZO and what he's doing. So I really like that. I really appreciate that. I know Nick does too. Oh, I lost your audio, Carson. You there? No, lost your audio somehow. Let me refresh it. Maybe something happened this side here. No. Source. Oh, no, you're good on my end. You there? Can you hear me? Oh, I think you went away. Oh, well, I think we're getting back. You there?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay. Okay. I think you're back. I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Hopefully you heard all that. So let's talk about like when you guys go to the races together, obviously a lot of them, the big races. Talk a little bit about, I mean, obviously you're wrenching right now, Carson, but talk a little bit about, I lost you again. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
It's okay. Maybe talk a little bit about your prep going to a big race for you, Jason and Carson, and then the day of the event, like without giving away too many of what's special that you guys have, but to help out a future father son or a two-person kind of team, because I think it probably takes two people to have a really good program. Otherwise, you probably would spend, without your dad there or that second person, how much time someone would need to spend preparing the car and working on the car throughout the weekend. So, talk a little bit about that, I guess.
Well, I'll put him on the spot. He'll say
Okay.
his side.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely, I see the difference if I'm not at the race with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he still does okay, but we still communicate on phone wise. But just being there with him to, I don't know how to just kind of keep him in line, focused.
Mm-hmm.
Because he starts second guessing him stuff when I'm not there, or if he has a question, at least I can talk it out with him, or I'll see something on his racing and I can ask him about or suggest. And just the little things of him having me do diffs while he's working on something else takes a little stress off of him. I have my own program, what I do for him, and he has his own. So we pretty are well oiled machine when we go to races.
Yeah, when you walk by your guys' pits, besides sometimes not having a car on what I'm going to say your side of the table, Jason, anybody that walked by would think you are a racer. You have a whole other set of tools and everything on that side, and depending on where that car or that truggy's at, no one would know the difference unless they watched what you did.
So he's just saying, like, what's your guys' maintenance going into a race? What's your guys' prep going into a race?
He does all the maintenance on his cars. I just do all of his engine work. For engine and clutching. That's all I do now. The cars have evolved a little bit over my head because I used to do all the wrenching for him. So the cars have way more setups than just 3 spots on your links to move.
Sure.
So he spent a lot of time with a couple guys, and they put in I don't know how many hours and tanks and batteries to learn cars and what it does. So I trust him now on just setups because I'm just a maintenance guy. I'm not a setup guy.
Sure.
I know a little bit, but
Mhm.
I don't glue tires for him anymore. Yeah, I just kind of just let him do his thing.
Pretty
Because
much.
I feel if
Oh,
like back in the day, I used to glue all his tires. They come unglued. Well, who's at fault that I am?
Mhm.
The car doesn't hook up. It doesn't do this. Doesn't do that. Who's at fault? I am.
Yeah.
So I says you need to learn how to work on the cars. That way, it's your fault if it doesn't do this and gluing tires. Like I said, I just stick to the engine and clutch, and we pretty much have that dialed down.
So that's
But all
good.
his prep work's on his own.
And I don't know if you, I don't know if that maybe you realize it or not, Jason, but we talked a lot about RC cars, but and I like this side of it, but you guys have focused on what you've done on the nitro side, and not saying anything negative about the e-buggy stuff or whatever, but I know Carson has told me in the past that he uses his electric program to help him um further his nitro cars. How do you see that? How do you recognize that?
Tire prep.
It's more, yeah, it's more of a tire thing. It's not really a setup. The e-buggy doesn't. It's not the same as the nitro.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't use that more of setup. He just uses it for a tire
Sure.
test. It's just another class. E-buggy
Corner speed, traction wise, like
his
developing. Yeah.
his e-buggy program is just a fun class.
Yeah.
His class is the nitro.
Yeah.
So that's why you'll see at some races if the e-buggy doesn't work, I don't want him to be flustered over it because it just ruins his other program and his nitro. So I says let's just beg the class.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably I don't know how many times we've just put the car on the shelf. I mean, to me, it's
The filler class.
It's a filler class for him. So
Yeah. No, I like that info. I mean, I hope that people go back and watch some of this and they pick up on this because that's what this is about. You know, is showing the transition from Carson the short course basher to now the the nitro nitro racer, and and we're going to talk about your your next goals, and I know that worlds, obviously everybody knows that's coming up, and how much prep have you guys been hands on now going, thinking about worlds coming up, and what's that look like? And I know we just had a good race over there in Spokane, and the grip level was just incredible that weekend, Carson.
That
How did
was
you?
a lot to grip.
Yeah, I know we talked about that, of course, too. But how did you relate that track to what you expect? Thornhill's going to be like, and how'd that help you think, or did it?
I mean, if you would to put it perspective in one word, not even close. But you got a sealed covered track and you got an open hot track. So it's kind of like you have the same similarities, but you don't have like track, tire, or like diff to track, or you know what I'm saying? Like your setup is a big part of your tire, diff, and shock. If your setup's close, you could be okay with it, but learning a lot from temperature and tires, diffs too, but practicing, figuring out, wheel time, just figuring out lips of faces, downsiding, braking points, turning in too late, turning in too soon. I've just been trying to prep myself and just slowing myself down and not trying to go for the win. I don't really have a lot of tracks to race on to go to Worlds, but just prep pretty much.
Yeah. Besides Worlds coming up, what some other goals do you have to go to? What tracks would you like to go to, you know, either after Worlds are done, or what's, you know, what's the next step for you guys, or just you yourself when it comes to the RC, Carson?
After Worlds, when I'm done,
Hmm.
what's my next step?
Yeah.
Um, might just focus on, I'm getting a little bit older now.
Hmm.
I'm 25, so I've been doing it for, about 15 years. So, I mean, not to take a break or anything, but I still will be racing and stuff like that, but I won't be taking it as serious anymore.
Hmm.
I mean, it's pretty hard. It takes a big chunk out of your life when you have to race, but when you take it pretty serious, it takes a toll on just timing and um, just putting the effort into racing.
Hmm.
Going fast takes a lot of time and effort, but I
Yeah.
still will be at the track. I'll still be practicing and stuff like that, but I just won't be racing as much.
Sure. You know, something I know that you've done in the past, you've done some drone and I think some airplane flying too. How
Yes.
did any of that transition, any of that help you get into more of the RC, or why did that drone or the plane, you know, maybe transition out?
So I kind of, when I was racing a lot with my dad, we were doing a lot of races and stuff, and I kind of just lost interest on racing RC cars, getting dirty all the time and, just going to the same thing, going to the same track. So I was like, oh, let's try something different. Flying planes, drones, you got the adrenaline rush with the goggles on,
Mm-hmm.
whole different atmosphere, but it got expensive. The traveling is the same, just like racing RC cars.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just honestly, the price was expensive.
Yeah.
You had to have at least 5 to 6 quads, is what you'd call them, because they got 4 motors. But
Mm-hmm.
um, basically, just went back to racing RC cars because I still had everything sitting on the shelf. It was easier to pick up that and start it up and throw it on the track versus, reprogramming a drone because there's a different software every month. But
Okay.
um, planes are fun too.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta take off and land it. So if you don't land it, you're gonna wreck it. So I just ventured more towards RC cars because you can wreck them and crash them and pick them up and replace them and put them back on the track. So
Yeah. What if you could look back on a memory in the RC, what could you share about that? Like what was, you know, and I'm not saying a negative memory or just a great memory, but just a memory that just comes up, like a track that you went to, or a time that, you know, maybe was with you or your dad, or whatever the situation is. What comes to mind when that question comes up?
um not having nothing but making it out of having fun, as in saying, like, if you didn't have anything
Hmm.
at the races, you can still have fun with what you have.
Yeah.
So I was big on always looking up to other people, like, hey, dad, why don't I have that? Well, it didn't matter what you had. It was, about how fast you could go, or like if you had fun doing it.
Hmm.
Um, but that was one of my biggest memories. Was it didn't matter what you had. It was just more like having fun. And if you could win with that vehicle or whatever, at least I could be like, hey, I won with that type of car or that brand.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best when I was younger, but that was one of my biggest memories, was with my dad, just out at a club race, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't win, I didn't know what race I was in. It could have been a rookie class, who knows? But that was one of my biggest memories, was just hanging out with my dad and racing.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about South Dakota. You know, that was a big pay race. And what did you think of that event? And do you think that that's something that the RC community, RC world needs more of?
I mean, obviously, if you live here in the Northwest, that's a whole different atmosphere for sure. There's
Mhm.
lots of bugs. The temperature is a lot higher. The people are really nice. There ain't no wind there. Track surface is about the same, but I mean the people and just the temperature. I mean the travel too. I mean driving all the way there and just meeting different people. To be honest, I mean there's
Yeah.
nothing too much I know about going there, but
I mean, it was probably the most that you've won at a race, I would assume.
yes. Oh, on money wise, yeah. I mean.
Yeah. And there was
Just
there was
for
good
not
competition.
being prepared, or it was unexpected. I didn't realize I was going to a money race, kind of, so it was kind of nice. I didn't really look at the money. I was just looking at winning. There was a lot of fast guys there, not a lot of fast guys, but I had Mason and Seth that I had to race against. I still got it up on the podium, but
Yeah.
hey, third's third. So
Yeah. No, that was a good that was a fun race to watch for sure, being there. And that was a challenge getting there, but we did it. That was great. I know you have some other stuff that you guys like to do. The fishing. So real quick, talk about that kind of hobby and how long you guys been doing that. And do you have any fishing trips that you guys want to go do?
Yeah, he's been into fishing ever since he was little. I used to fish quite a bit. Had quite a bit of a few boats, ocean boats, and did a lot of fishing. I think that's what hooked him. And then he does a lot of sports fishing. And then just probably this last year, and then like says when he talked about the burnout factors, last year was a burnout factor for both of us because we were prepping for qualifying worlds. So we were racing every big race we could travel to, and to get and we hit our goal. And I told him, I says, we were done by September, and I says, we got to find something else to do. So we both took up fishing, and we've been trying to fish as much as we can. We have a trip in Idaho again.
We've always been fishing a lot. It's just racing every weekend. It puts a toll. So when you put your head towards racing, you kind of have to lose something. But
you're gone a lot.
Gone all the time, so it's hard to have another hobby. But if you have time off work and then chasing work and then racing RC cars and fishing too. So, but this year's been, or last year has been pretty good fishing, and this year, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah.
Yes, like it says, we're just trying to get into a little bit more of something else. Like he was saying, he's not going to give it up. We reached our goal. It took quite a while to do it, but yeah, I mean, 15 years to make the chance to actually qualify. That was a big thing, to qualify into Worlds, and we've tried and came close a couple times, but this time we did it, or he did it.
What's the number he qualified number? 37th, I think. Here we are.
No, he actually qualified through the Canadian Roar sanction, which is same as the US. So unfortunately, most of our nationals we've been to, he's made it to quarterfinals, but is broke every single time. So he's came close, but so yeah, we knew we had another chance after Texas because we broke, and so we drove all the way up to Edmonton, Canada, and he was able to pull off a second up there and get his ticket to Worlds.
Yeah.
By qualifying, so yeah, so that was our goal.
That's good,
and that's kind of our I guess what do you call it? Bucket list.
Yeah, bucket list.
That's our final bucket list.
was just going into Worlds,
to
just
get to
yep,
Worlds,
just qualify.
Yeah,
qualify in. So
that's gonna be a fun event. I mean, everyone in the Northwest definitely gonna be, behind you guys and watching and communicating as much as we can behind the scenes. So that's really great.
and then going into Worlds, we're not expecting anything. I don't expect him to, be in a quarterfinal, an eighth, or anything like that. This is the best in the whole entire world. So
Yeah,
as long my goal is maybe mid pack. That was our first goal when we went to our first national. I wanted him to finish at least in the 50 percentile. So that's what we're going to go into. We're going into at least 50%. So we'll see. We've been at this track.
Every year
So-
that I've been to a nationals, I've always done really good. I always break every time. So it'd be nice for one time, qualified in the Worlds, just put my head down, don't stress myself out. We're not here to win. We're just here to have a good time.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Experience wise, like I said, in 2017 was the last Worlds in the US, and we could have resumed in. I felt he wasn't fast enough, and so I didn't resume him into that.
there's just no point to go.
I somewhat kicked myself in the butt for not doing it, but I felt he wasn't even ready for speed wise. And then this chance came around, and so I'm glad it happened because yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, we'll just do our best. We have the best sponsors behind us,
Definitely.
the equipment.
There's the best
So-
sponsor right there.
That's it.
So,
That's it. That's good.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
I'm not worried about I'm not worried about any of our equipment. So yeah, we're going into it all in,
Mhm.
and we'll just see what happens.
What's what's next race? Where's the next race that you guys are going to?
So I'm actually just kind of getting my cars prepped for kind of actually Worlds. So I'm actually just rebuilding my spare car for just shits and giggles, and then I'm building my new car, which I'm almost done with, and then I'm actually gonna go and probably just do a couple of test runs at Die Hard this weekend, just for like a quick little warm up, just to break in my car.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing big, but yeah. So that's the only thing we really have prepped, was just kind of practicing.
Yeah.
More just we're just trying to make a decision on. We've been running a lay down style car, and we're trying to make a decision right now if we want to stay with that or go back to
Normal stand up.
Yeah, the stand up. So that's what he's trying to figure out right now, before, so we don't go to Worlds. And wish we would have went one other direction,
Mm-hmm.
because we got a car that's nobody else has with the lay down.
Yeah.
So we don't have anything to compare notes with. So that's what we're kind of venturing towards, to go back to the stand up, because we have all the support at Worlds with the team
Mm-hmm.
for setups. So he's just hit and miss on races right now. I'd say our next big race is going to be in nationals in Chico, California. Will probably be our big race. And then we'll still do some NCTs. And like I said, we're just trying to prep a little bit on the cars, figure things out going in the world. So
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. It's coming fast. I know.
yeah, and it's a long week and a half of racing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean, knowing what to look forward to, it's just there's a lot of prep.
and your cars have to be 100%.
Right.
Every single day you go on that track has to be 100%. So we want to make sure that he's comfortable with the car. So
There you go. Well, hey, I think we covered a lot of good stuff. I appreciate you guys taking the time. talking about some things past and what's going on current and some future plans. And you know where we are with you, Carson, how, we support you too. And, people in the Northwest definitely support you and appreciate, where you come from and where you've transitioned to. And I know your sponsors appreciate all the things you do for them and showing their quality of products. And you wouldn't have them on your car, use them in your car if they weren't quality products. And I know they know it, and I know you guys know it. So definitely, definitely a good, definitely a good program you guys have. And that's what people want to hear about, is that transition and program. And you guys spend a little time being frustrated when you started, but you didn't give up, and you met some goals, and you got a bucket list, and don't go into those goals now with, a big head type of situation, and focus, and just all the things that really make a good. Even it doesn't matter if you're in racing or sports or whatever it is, it's having a baseline and a support system. So I think that's really good of you guys. I really, really, really envy that, of course. So appreciate you guys. We're gonna transition into kind of the next scene and whatever. And appreciate your time, Jason and Carson, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Yep.
You too. All right. Well, that was a great talk we had with Carson and his dad, Jason, and kind of seeing how their behind the scenes, program, as far as what they've done, where they've gone, what they're gonna do, different interests, where they started. I mean, holy smokes, that was a great time. And we kind of went through that same thing with AJ and Joe here a couple weeks ago, and there's gonna be some more of that coming up. So next race for us is gonna be round 3 Eagle Hill there in Idaho, of course, the 26th and 28th. I'm sure Carson's going to be attending that one. He's going to test this weekend some at Die Hard. They have a big race there. They're incorporating some golfing into that program. Try to get some more interest, different sports, I guess, going on. I think that's a great way to do things. So anything to support the hobby, I think, is great. So we appreciate you guys that are coming on. I know we get a lot of followers and people watching after the fact. 7 o'clock sometimes is a little early for people, especially in the nice weather that we're going on, and they come in a little later. So appreciate you guys. Definitely, click that like button, subscribe, share it out there. If you haven't got signed up, go to the shop at myshopify.com with the /, get yourself signed up. Firecracker Fury's coming up. And then of course, after that, we'll be doing a local race on this, or not a local race, but round 4 of the NCT over here on the west side. It hasn't been over here for a couple years up there in Nora. Then of course we've got Wall, and then the finals will be at Monday's track in Post Falls there in early September. And then I believe right after that is when Worlds is, and everybody will be focusing on that. I don't have the dates on here, but of course in October after the Worlds, the Can-Am Northwest Nationals indoor arena race, kind of to close out the season up there in Linden again this year. Got a lot of great things planned. We'll get that flyer out there for everybody really soon. So appreciate everybody on. Keep the chat going for a little bit. Let me know what you guys want to hear, talk about. Click like and subscribe. Appreciate that. And we'll talk to you guys soon.